Hi, I'm Bill Lampton. Communication has no boundaries. That became easier for us to believe in the mid-1990s when all of a sudden we had the internet. Not only could we eventually send text messages to people if we had the proper equipment, soon we shared photos and then videos and then video conferencing. There seemed to be no more limits. However, as grand as all of that is, as much as I embrace it, as much as I live by it, both personally and professionally, there's a different type of communication boundary that I want to talk about. Communication boundaries exist only in our minds. If our minds are open and receptive, it's unfathomable the kind of communication that can happen for us. Almost unbelievable instances. I'll share 3 that have happened for me, and there have been many more. But these 3 will carry a lot of meaning, I'm sure. First was the funeral of my beloved father, George Lampton of Columbia, Mississippi. I returned to my office, which was several states away. I was feeling dejected, lonely, down, recognizing that on this earth I would not see him physically again. At his funeral, included among the music, was his favorite hymn, Amazing Grace. When I got out of my house that morning, that Monday morning, returning to work, went to my car. On the way to the car, I heard some music. I had never noticed before that there was a church in town that played chimes. As a matter of fact, I don't think I ever noticed that again. But very clearly and unmistakably came the music of Amazing Grace on the chimes of that church. I was sure that communication boundaries had been exceeded because I was open to receiving the message. A second instance, quite a few years ago, my wife Sandra, who likes to work crossword puzzles, was working a puzzle. She asked me a question: who is a famous French actor, last name Delon? I said, oh, that's Alain Delon. I just happen to know that little bit of trivia because I follow the movies quite closely. She said, thanks. So then I went upstairs to do my evening reading. I picked up this book. I'm a big Eddie Fisher fan. At that time, I was reading Eddie Fisher's biography. Been there, done that. And as I sat down, I turned to the page that I had marked, and I went to this sentence. At that time, Alain Delon was the leading romantic star in the French film industry. Believe me, a rather cold chill came over me. Coincidence? No, I didn't really think so. And then more recently, a couple of weeks ago, I was having a workout at the YMCA on the elliptical machine. There was a TV where I was watching a movie, and for a brief minute before I left, I cut into a Bruce Willis movie. Bruce Willis got into his car, cut on the car radio, and the song that was playing was the Statler Brothers rendition, one of their biggest hits, of Flowers on the Wall. I finished my exercise at the Y. I went to my car. I cut on the engine. I cut on the radio. And the radio was playing the Statler Brothers song, Flowers on the Wall. What are the mathematical, what are the statistical odds of that song playing on television in a movie and then playing on the car radio 5 minutes later, the exact same song. Why could these things happen? Possibly because I'm open to recognizing them, and not only that, to welcoming them when they happen. With my life dedicated to the study and the teaching of communication, I'm thrilled that the only boundaries that are there are the boundaries that we place if our minds are confined. But if our minds are expansive and open, there are no boundaries to the amazing experiences that we can have. What about you? Have you had similar experiences which erased what might have been walls, and all of a sudden you have contacts, you have identity, you have amazing connections that would seem, again, mathematically impossible? I'd love to hear from you if you have some examples that you'd like to share. Meanwhile, I'm Bill Lampton, hoping that you enjoy communication without boundaries. Thanks for being with me.